दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्वोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततन्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै अथ द्वितीयोऽध्यायः। श्रीभगवानुवाच 13th verse। देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्तिः धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति। So it says here dehi, dehaha asya asti iti dehi. That's how it has been derived, the word dehi. And so just as for the jiva, yatha means just as for the jiva, the indweller of the body, there is a childhood, youth and old age. Similar is the gaining of the other body also. With reference to that, a wise man does not come to grief. I mean, jiva survives the body. That's what the thing is. Therefore, if you look as a Sachidanand Paramatma also, well, it's not going to be destroyed because it's the nature of existence. Sat means existence. And well, what is the nature of existence will never be non-existent. What's the nature? If something has a nature of an existence, means what? It will never be non-existent thing. Well, if it is not going to be a non-existent thing, when where is the question of grieving for? And if you consider as a jiva, well, the atma which is associated with this body, mind, sense complex, associated, but it doesn't get associated. But from the standpoint of this body, we feel that it is associated. Because it is inside the body, we say it like that. Because it manifests, Atma manifests in the mind, and that is how it looks that it is inside. It is all pervading. Where is the question of inside? Inside, outside, everything it is same. But anyway, so from the standpoint of a jiva also, nothing to worry, because he is the one who undergoes all the stages of the body. I mean, it keeps changing. Body keeps changing from this childhood to youth to old age, everything. And the same jiva remains changeless even during one life. And even after the fall of the body, if he gains a new body, well, there is nothing to worry. He is surviving the body, and he is being a changeless. He is not undergoing any destruction, etc. So there is nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. So there is no cause of a sorrow for you. Either for all the people, either for Bhishma, Drona, etc. There is not going to be the cause of sorrow. This is what has been discussed. And we raise certain objections. And one of the objection is, which is prevalent in India, is they say that the human birth, once you gain a human birth, in next life also you will get a human birth. And if you are born as a dog, next life also you are going to be born as a dog. That's how they say like that. And then we said, no, that is not the case. Because Bhagavan said, Dehantara Prapti. He gets another body. Bhagavan has not said that he is going to get the same body. Bhagavan has not mentioned at all. And therefore, we cannot assume like that the person who has in this life a particular kind of a janma will get the same kind of a janma in another life, in next life. Well, that's not the case. Then he got a little annoyed. And he said, okay, I agree to you. But then you answer this question. What? Suppose a human being becomes a bird, right? So he has so many experiences, and the impressions born of experiences in the same mind. Well, and jiva means it goes along with this sukshma sharira, it will come in tattva-bodha also. So it goes along with this mind and senses and everything, it packs up and then goes. Gross body is here, but the subtle body and this reflected consciousness, so that just goes. Therefore, the same mind goes, the mind in which there are plenty of the impressions born of the experiences of human life. Then, if he gains a body of a bird, well, this samskaras also of a human life has to manifest, because they are there. Instead, we see that when it gains a body of a monkey, it starts jumping. Whereas in human life, he was never jumping like that. There is an exception, of course, but he was never jumping. And therefore, we feel that in the previous life also, he would have been a monkey only. That's how when he gets another body, immediately the impressions born of the monkey life will manifest. Altogether, a new kind of a body you get. And then in the previous life, you had like a human or something, human life. Then all the samskaras or the impressions are there, vasanas are there of the human life, has to manifest somewhere immediately. Because the mind is the same ultimately, subtle body is same. And therefore we believe that the human life will get a next human life also. Only a human being will get a next human life. Dog will get a dog next. He will become a dog only. That's how we believe. So then we answered that it's not so. We say this jiva has passed through several janmas, beginningless janmas. Jiva is anadi. Jiva is beginningless, and therefore he has passed through all the yonis. And in all the yonis, different kinds of samskaras are there. And out of that, only in a particular body in which he enters, according to that body, the samskaras or the impression manifest. And then we give an example also. Like suppose you were staying for 10 years in Los Angeles. Like I have to give example of here, right? So correct? Yes. So Los Angeles, you were staying for 10 years. Like in 80s, suppose. And now you happen, for 10 years you have not gone. Or 90s, let's say. You should consider all these things. Anyway, so, and then you go now after 10 years. When you just land, on the airport, you get all the impressions of the house and the road towards that, everything, the street and everything comes to your mind. So a particular kind of a place you reach, the particular kind of the associated samskaras along with that, the place arises. Same way, whatever kind of a body you get, and according to that body, a particular kind of a samskara arises out of this mind. And therefore, the monkey behaves like a monkey. He has already experienced a monkey life before. Need not be immediately. Need not be the previous life. Need not be. Right? This is what the answer we give. And we say for, the samskaras which arises in the mind, the three factors are important. First is a janma, a particular birth. If you are born as a monkey, you are means, I'm just joking, I'm telling like that. Don't think that Swamiji is telling us like that. You may say just anybody. Any Tom, Dick and Harry, like that. I mean, so if you are born as a monkey, then definitely monkey samskara only will arise. So janma is responsible, first thing. A particular kind of samskaras arise. Second thing is a time. At particular time, particular kind of samskaras arises. Right? Matlab, after 10 years you went to Los Angeles. Till 10 years you were not, you have all the impressions of Los Angeles life were there, but you did not remember. Or you might have remembered here and there, but not so vividly. Now once you go there, all the experience you had in the 10 years will just manifest, right? They just manifest. So time also is important. First is a birth, second is a time. A particular time at a particular time, particular samskaras will arise. Third is a stage of life. Certain samskaras or impressions arise at a particular stage of life. I will give you an example for that. Suppose one person, a young person died in an accident, and that person had a weakness of a woman, etc. And so he was having a strong biological desire, and he died. He died. Now, suppose he is getting a new human body. Let's say that way, a new human body. Now he is born as a child, definitely. So even though in a past life he was having this impression of a lust, but it doesn't, samskaras of a lust or different experience with a different women, etc., they just don't appear at the level of a childhood. When he becomes young, then only they will manifest. I'll give you another example. Suppose a child is dead, some child is dead, who has not undergone any this kind of experiences at all, right? And he is dead. Then when he is born, then definitely this kind of a lust will not be there in childhood. But suppose when he becomes a young, it will manifest. Could you follow what I'm saying? So in the previous life, he was not having that impression because he died as a child. So those impressions were not there because he had not undergone any experience in that life. But when he is born again, definitely in childhood this thing will not be there. But when he goes to the next stage, youth, etc., then those things manifest. So that shows samskaras, the rising of the samskaras, the impressions depend upon three factors. A particular janma will bring a particular samskaras to manifestation. Second is at particular time, particular samskaras arises, like I told you about Los Angeles. And the third thing is a stage of life. In a particular stage of life, particular samskaras arises, right? So, and therefore, you just can't tell like that, if a human being is born as a monkey, then human life he had in 80 years so many experiences and so many impressions. Those have to manifest immediately in the monkey life. Well, that's not the case. At a particular time, particular birth and particular stage of life, the impressions will rise. And therefore, it's anybody can get any body depending upon his own impressions and karmas, etc. So, Manushya can become, the human being can become even an animal or a bird or anything. And in that life, the impression born of a human life will not manifest. They remain dormant. They remain dormant. We call unmanifest. That's basically it is going to come. It remains unmanifest. And then again, suppose if he gets another after that life, if he gets again a human life, well, impressions will come again. And therefore, dehantara praptihi means any deha you can get depending upon your karma or vasanas, that is correct. So this argument, your argument about the samskaras is not right. Now one point we left over. If you remember, yesterday we raised a question. These Jaina philosophers, I told you about that. They believe that the Atma is of the size of the body. It's not a size of the atom, etc. Not of a small dimension. Not of a very big dimension called, Vedantis call it as a all-pervasive Atma. No. That is also not. Then small dimension, no. Atma is not even a Anu Parimana. They call Parimana means a dimension. Anu means a atom. So for dimension of a atom. So that is not correct. I gave you answer that if it is Atma is of the size of a atom, then in the whole body you will not experience pleasure, pain, etc. Because to experience pleasure, pain, there should be consciousness. A inert thing cannot experience pleasure, pain, heat, cold, anything. Right? And therefore, if I am experiencing heat, cold, etc. throughout the body, even the pain also, suppose I told you about that, like knife, etc. You got hurt, knife in the leg, suppose. Well, there also you feel pain. If you get hurt here, you get pain. If you get hurt here, you get pain. Means the consciousness is pervading throughout the body. Therefore, consciousness is not of the size of the atom. If it is of the size of atom, suppose it is here, suppose. Then I experience pleasure, pain, heat, cold only at this point. Because experiencer is a conscious being. And it is of the size of an atom. Well, that's not correct. Therefore, we say Atma is not of the size of a atom. And Atma is not all pervasive also. Why it is not all pervasive? Then he said if it is all pervasive, then it should experience, it will be omniscient. Because since it is all pervasive, it knows the mind which is here. It knows all others' minds. It knows all the experiences of the different living beings. Everything it experiences because it is all pervasive. You say it is in the form of experiencer. Well, then experiencer is everywhere. And that experiencer is conscious being is this Atma. Therefore, he will have infinite experiences. Everything. Well, that's not the case. Whatever pertain to this body only he experiences, not of the other bodies. Well, then Atma is of the size of the body only. That's how it is. Could you follow what I'm saying? This is a philosophy. This is a philosophy of a Jainas. And it's a Nastikas. And yesterday I gave you 5 questions. I think the one left over. Yeah, it's a means of moksha. That's the 6th question. 6th question is what are the means of moksha? That's also, we have to note it. So, this is how, the heat, cold, and pleasure, pain, etc., pleasant, unpleasant, what other people are experiencing, he should experience because he is the Atma of everything. He is all pervasive. And therefore, the way he experiences pleasure, pain in this body, he should experience pleasure, pain in other body also. But he doesn't experience pleasure, pain of the other body. And therefore, definitely Atma is not all pervasive. He is of the size of the body only. Right? And size of the body is this is their philosophy. Then we tell them, what do you think? If Atma is of the size of the body, then gross body is there in the waking state, you are aware of this gross body. And therefore you can say that you are of this size, of this gross body. But what about the dream state? What about the deep sleep state? Right? What's your experience about yourself in dream state? What's your experience about yourself? What is your awareness about yourself in deep sleep state? If it is of the size of this body, even in a deep sleep state, you will be aware of yourself of this size only. In a dream state, you will be aware of this size only, because Atma is in all the three states. And therefore, in a waking state, if you are aware of this size, in dream state also you will be aware of this size. In deep sleep state also you will be aware of this size. But definitely, sorry, in dream state, you create a small, small, we call, what is it called? Of this, same. But in the minute, at a miniature scale, you create this body. Very miniature. Because the dream is in some particular nadi that has been talked in Shastra. In particular nadi, dream arises. In that dream world, there is a dream body of yourself. Conscious dream body is there. So, in dream, your size, you are aware of yourself with a very, very miniature scale. And in deep sleep, well, you are there, but you have no dimension. You know that you are there without dimension in deep sleep state. And therefore, Atma cannot be of the size of this body. If it is of the size of this body, the same size of the Atma should be there in all the three states. Well, you don't experience that way yourself, and therefore we are sorry. Atma is not of the size of this body. Second question. If Atma is of the size of the body, then you are aware of yourself, right? You told that there is you feel cold, you feel heat, you feel some kind of a pain, you will feel pleasure, whatever. Everything, correct. So since you are of this size, so you are pervading in the entire body, correct. Well, are you aware of yourself? Are you aware of the body in totality? Please explain. Right now, there is a cholesterol getting, collected in a particular vein right now. In a kidney, there is right now a stone is forming. Are you aware? Almost in all the situations, all the physical conditions, we are caught unaware. We are caught unaware. If Atma is of the size of the body, means Atma pervades in entire body, then Atma should be, that is, I should be aware of each and every phenomena occurring in the body. Well, in fact, you don't know most of the limbs of the body. If any limb which comes out, suppose, let's think of any limb comes out. You don't know. You have to ask a doctor. And the doctor says some name. To remember that, you need to eat 500 grams of almonds. Still you will not be able to remember. Because all the biological names they give, my God. So you are not aware of the even parts of the body. And then happening something in the parts. Otherwise there would not be a spirit of corona. Right? Because it has entered. I am aware of the body. I know, it has entered now in the body. All the diseases indicate you are caught unaware. Then how can you be of the size of the body? How can you be size of the body? In the body you are pervaded and of the size of the body. Then you should be aware of everything. Atma is a consciousness. Any experience takes place because of consciousness. Not able to answer. He doesn't have answer. Anyway, so these are the questions. Then we are answering. He is not answering, but we are obliged to answer. There are two kinds of knowledges. One we call it a general knowledge. General knowledge means not GK. I'm not talking about GK. The GK. GK means general knowledge, not. Samanya Jnanam means Atma, which is of the nature of knowledge, consciousness. That is one. And second is the knowledge generated in a mind. That's a Vishesha Jnana. When depending upon the object, there will be a corresponding thought in the mind, and definitely Atma illumines the thought. And therefore that is how the knowledge takes place. Knowledge of a clip has two components. One is a clip thought. The clip has entered through the eye, and the mind has taken a shape of clip. That's all. Mind being subtle, it can take any form. And right now it has taken a form of a clip. We call it as a clip thought. And the Atma which has manifested in the mind definitely illumines the clip thought. So now clip thought turns to clip knowledge. Right? So Atma illumines everything and illumines the thought also. Illumines the mind. But mind again, at a particular time, particular thought arises. A particular thought arises, here it is a thought of a clip. And a clip thought arises. But I don't say I know clip. I say I know clip. Thought cannot give you the knowledge. Thought is just an inert thing. How can you say somebody thought is inert? Because it is generated in a mind. And mind is an inert entity made up of subtle elements. And therefore it is inert. It should be illumined. And Atma illumines because Atma manifests in the subtle body, illumines the mind, illumines the thought, particular thought, and that is how a cognition takes place. And so then now when this thought goes, some other thought, definitely. Then a thought of a flower, then thought of a clock, and thought of a mobile, and all different kind of thoughts are there. And every thought is illumined by the same knowledge, consciousness. So the general knowledge, samanya jnanam, universal knowledge, let's say, I don't know, something we should tell about. So knowledge which is present in all the thoughts, that knowledge is Atma. And the vritti, the thought which is generated in the mind becomes a cognition. Each thought becomes a cognition, and so we get particular knowledge also, right? Particular knowledge. So knowledge of a clip is a particular kind of a knowledge. Atma is a knowledge, is universal. But clip knowledge, particular. And this knowledge, clock knowledge, particular. So there are two kinds of knowledges. One is universal, present in every thought, etc., present in the mind, and then illumines the mind and illumines the thought, etc. And other one, generated in the mind, which is particular. Generated in the mind through the thought, depending upon the object, whatever the object will be. And there will be, depending upon the object, there will be corresponding thought, and corresponding thought is illumined. Like this illumines you, me, like that. Atma illumines every thought, and so universal knowledge becomes particular knowledge. So there are two kinds of knowledge, and this is to be understood to give an answer to this question. So mind is responsible for particular knowledge, and Atma is responsible for universal knowledge. When you say I have a pot knowledge, I have a clip knowledge, I have a clock knowledge, that knowledge part belongs to Atma. And the other thing, whatever is there, belongs to mind. Because that's just a thought. Clock, pot, etc. It's just a thought. It's a thought. And thought cannot illumine itself. It is not self-illumining. It is made up of subtle elements. Elements are inert. And therefore, it has to be illumined by something. And that Atma, which is all-pervading, is It pervades even the mind, pervades the thought, and that's how you get a knowledge of every object. Could you follow what I'm saying? And so, since the mind is responsible for particular kind of knowledge, and mind being absent in other, my mind being absent in other bodies, I will not have a particular knowledge pertaining to those minds. Right? So even though Atma is pervading all, but Atma is pervading all means Atma pervades all the minds. Atma pervades or illumines all the minds. But then a particular thought arises in a particular mind, brings that particular knowledge. Well, my mind is limited to here, in this body. It is not extending to other bodies. It is not pervading other bodies. And therefore, to have all knowledge, even the mind should be all pervading. Not just Atma. Atma is just a universal knowledge. It pervades all, it illumines, pervades and illumines everything. And therefore, if you want to know, you say Atma is all pervading, then you should know something is happening in his mind and something is happening in this. Well, something, that particular thing is responsible, particular thing, for that the cause is a mind. And the mind is a limited entity. It is right now here. So, Atma, even though pervades everything, I cannot pervade other minds because my mind is very limited. And therefore, that way, this even though Atma is all pervading, you cannot be omniscient. You cannot be omniscient. You cannot say what is going on in others' mind. I should know because Atma is pervading. Well, that's not the thing. And therefore, this is how we give an explanation. So Atma is all pervading. It's not of the size of this body because you find yourself dimensionless in deep sleep state, and therefore you just can't take yourself to be of this size, right? Of this size. Dhiras tatra na muhyati. Then Arjuna says, this is the last part of the this 13th verse. So from Kumar, from the childhood to the youth and to the old age, etc., it's all belong to the body, I understood. And after that, after old age also crosses and person leaves this body and gains another body. Well, that also I understood. And therefore Atma is just a changeless, bodies are keep changing, etc. I survive all the bodies, everything fine. I am changeless, everything fine. I survive the body, fine. But still, what still? See, but this particular body, I associated with him as my guru. I associated with him as my elderly uncle, this, that, etc. My parents, this. And therefore those bodies will not remain. No? Well, then I feel sorrowful, very sorrowful. Bodies are going to die. For that, even though body is not Atma, I understood everything. There should not be cause of sorrow. I understood everything. I never die, I understood. But still, in this particular form, I won't be able to see after the war. Right? This is a question. Most of the Vedantis have. Most of the Vedantis. Yeah, I understood it is anatma. Yeah, I understood it is anatma. But still, this particular form will not be there. That kind of a thing will be there. Then Bhagavan says, you are not dhiraha. First Bhagavan said panditaha. Pandasya asti iti panditaha. One who has done enough discrimination between Atma and Atma, etc. So here Bhagavan says dhiraha. Instead of panditaha, he uses the word dhiraha. Dhiyam irayati iti dhiraha. Because there Bhagavan said, nanu shochanti panditaha. Panditaha na anushocanti. Though you talk like a wise man, you are wise sounding. You are not a wise person, basically. Well, but wise because you are grieving. Wise do not grieve. Na anushocanti panditaha. The wise people never grieve for anything, either for dead or for alive people. And therefore, you are still grieving. Therefore, you are not Pandita. That's what it said. Here Bhagavan has used another. Dhiraha tatra na muhyati. Same thing. Muhyati means he is not deluded. I mean, he will not be having grief also. Wo dhiraha. Dhiraha means diyam irayati iti dhiraha. One who, impels one's own mind is called dhiraha. Towards what? Towards getting established in this reality, that I never die. This anatma, etc., they are just a superimposition upon the atma. They don't have even independent existence. They are just an appearance. They are just to have a borrowed existence. Anything which has a borrowed existence is appearance. Anything which has a borrowed existence is appearance. Even if it is a real thing, suppose this is atma and this is anatma. If there are two independent things and somehow get connected, still I may grieve for, well, I am that. But this also is a reality, Well, it is not. It's not. But I have heard it. I have heard it several times. Yeah. Then you are not dhiraha. Dhiraha means one who impels one's intellect to get established in that reality. That I am the one who is bodiless, I am the one who is existence, I am the one who is fullness, I am the one who is all pervasive. Being all pervasive, there cannot be any other thing. There cannot be any other thing. Then only it is all pervasive. If I am all pervasive, but then body, etc., I am not the body. So body also is independent entity. Well, you are not all pervading. This is also small pervading, and this is also small pervading. All pervading means there is nothing other than you. That's all it is. Then what about the body? Yeah, that's what we say, it is appearance. There is nothing other than clay. But I am seeing parts. Yeah, they are appearances. Touch of a pot is a touch of a clay. Taste of a pot is a taste of a clay. This is a Puja Swami. Taste of a pot is a taste of a clay. Weight of a pot is a weight of a clay. And everything. The form of a pot is actually, it's a clay has taken the form. Smell of a pot. Yeah. In India, if you buy a new pot, new brand new pot, and you fill water in that, and you see this fragrance in the home. Because, the attribute of the Prithvi, earth, is gandha, smell. And therefore, you get a beautiful smell. Oh, this pot smells. Oh, my dear friend, pot never smells. It's the smell of a clay. So form, smell, touch, taste. That's how some children, when their mom don't allow them to go out. In the childhood, sometime it happens that you will have a deficiency of a calcium, etc. Then there is a natural tendency to eat the clay. Like Bhagavan also ate. Remember that? He also ate very well. And he then said, lie. I have never eaten, and you see my face. And then Bhagavan saw the whole, she saw the whole thing in that. So, what I am saying is, that's how they take the clay, they go out and from some corner they will pick up and take. If they are not allowed, what they do, they go in a kitchen and with a little nail, from the pot, they take it out and taste. It's not a taste of a pot, taste of a clay. Where is pot? Where is pot? That's how it is. Therefore, Arjuna, don't worry. You say body dies, thinking that body is some reality. Well, it's just an appearance. And it is going to die. Either you kill them or they will die on their own. They will die on their own. And don't think they are going to die on a bed of roses. Yeah. Prarabdha is waiting for everyone. From Bhagavan to everyone. Bhagavan doesn't have Prarabdha anyway, but we put, because then we feel solace, When you feel solace, I told you yesterday, like you don't have a power in the home, and then suddenly it went off, and then you asked to your neighbor, do you have a power? Oh no, we don't have. We feel soulless. Yeah. What we also don't have, they also don't have. Well, then it's fine. So same way, this happens. I mean, everyone is going to face the prarabdha. So even if they are, you won't kill them, well, they will go back to Hastinapur. Don't think they will die. They will not die. And not only that, they will die, but only they will die with certain disease and everything, definitely. If you won't become a nimitta for the killing or for a death of them, something else will become a nimitta for the death. It's going to happen. Therefore, you are not dhira. If you say, I definitely feel the body won't be there after this war, etc., then you are not dhira. Dhiraha na muhyati, Bhagavan says. If you really impel your body towards establishing, if you really impel your mind towards establishing in the reality that is you, which is all pervading, which is just an existence, non-existence just cannot come near even. There is no equation of even imagination of a non-existence when the nature is existence. Well, where are you? Why are you worrying about it? Oh, I understood, but I forgot. So impel your mind towards establishing this in the reality. Anyway, if a Pandita or Dhira is there, well, his knowledge will not be overshadowed with any other thing. Your knowledge as to I have given you something, but still it has been overshadowed, then means definitely you are not Dhira, etc. etc. Anyway, so na muhyati, he will not be deluded, etc. etc. has been told here now. Now let's go to another verse. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkhadaha agamapayino nityaha tam stitikshasva bharata. Matra sparshastu kaunteya, hey Arjuna, O son of Kunti. Son of Kunti is Kaunteya. Matra sparshaha. I will explain you, but just I will translate. The context of the sense organs to the sense objects, sensory world, you can say. Shita, Ushna, Sukha, Daha. Dadati iti Daha. Dadati, gives. The contact of the sense organs, especially of a perception, when they come in contact with the sensory world, sensory objects, they will give what? Shita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkha, etc. Heat, cold, etc. And pleasure, pain, everything they will give, which give rise to this cold and everything. And Agama apayina, that's another thing about these objects also have been told, that they have a nature of agamaha, they have a nature of coming, apayinaha, I mean they have a nature of going away also, I mean they are not constant. And therefore, tam titikshasva, have a titiksha. This titiksha we have already discussed, right? Titiksha means endurance, with a happy note, all then. With a complaining note, well, it is not a titiksha. we have discussed this of Vivek Chudamani also. Chinta vilaprahitam sa titiksha nigadyate, there it is been told. Chinta vilaprahitam. So chinta means a murmuring, some kind of murmuring. Or vilapa means complaining to others, etc. So it is when it is free from that. That's called titiksha. So here Bhagavan is saying tam titikshasva. May you have the endurance. Endure them, O Arjuna. That's how it means. So what it means is, the entire verse is, the context of the sense organs with the sensory world give rise to heat, cold, pleasure, unpleasure, pain, etc. And also they have a nature of, the objects have a nature of coming and going, and they are not constant, so endure them. That's what it means. Now we will have to see the background. Why Bhagavan is suddenly talking about this thing? Because this absence of endurance also is a cause of sorrow. So when you deal with a bigger situations so that you can be free from the sorrow, at least this kind of a things will bring sorrow. So bigger things have been talked. Death, etc. has been already talked. Right? We have seen that. So that has been talked. So now Arjuna is going to, as though he is going to argue. This is called a sangati. When two verses are there, the subject matter of the two verses has to be connected through some connection. Because Bhagavan just cannot talk, haphazardly. Something, whatever it comes to his mind and he just talks. This thing will not be there with Bhagavan. Right? We were just talking, suppose we are talking about Yoga Shastra. And suddenly I talk about a lunch, of today's lunch. Then you think, what has happened to Swami? We are talking something very serious and he is bringing lunch in the talk. So there is called a connection between the verses. We have to find out. Generally, Bhashyakara does this job. That is called Sangatihi in Sanskrit. Sangatihi means the previous verse is connected to the next verse through some connection. Bhagavan doesn't give. He doesn't oblige us with that. But Bhashyakara, who is commenting upon all this, every verse has to show the connection between the two. And so we will have to this connection, give this connection. So as though Arjuna is telling now, because this is what Bhagavan told, right? Dehi nosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yovanam jara dhiras tatrana muhyati, etc. Bhagavan told. Then as though Arjuna is replying and he is telling Katham Bhishma Maham Sankhe Dronancha Madhusudana Ishubhih Pratiyotsami, etc. Yadivano Jayehu, they all are the verses. What it means is, well, the people who are not dead, who are alive, and their bodies will undergo this kind of changes from childhood to youth to old age, etc. I can understand that, and therefore it is pertaining to body. I am not old, so I will not have a sorrow, etc. And I understood that. The sorrows born of, or sorrows born centered on the body, I should not have. I understood. Well, that's a big cause actually. Especially when person becomes old, he really feels, a psychological pain, emotional pain, tremendous emotional pain, tremendous. Physical pain, definitely he or she has, but then more than that, emotional pain. Anyway, so those things, those kind of sorrows should not be there, I understood. And what kind of a new body I am going to get, and etc. And in that new body also, what kind of a situations will be there. I need not have to worry, because whatever is in this body, I am a changeless. Body is changing. Well, same way in the next body also. The body will keep on changing. Body will pass through the childhood and youth and old age. I will not be having any time in the future, even though I may acquire thousands of bodies, I will not have old age. I understood. Well, therefore, there should not be a sorrow. Okay, good. Thank you. That's what it means. But then, right now, you are telling me to fight, right? And when I start fighting, what is going to happen? Just imagine. He's telling to Bhagavan, because that is his friend, ultimately. And Bhagavan has behaved in such a way that, you will take him for granted as a friend only. Definitely. He has lived like that. Jadaval lokama acharit. He has lived with the people as if he is totally ignorant about everything. And he is also suffering the same way. Like the ignorant people suffer, he also says, I am also suffering. Everything but inside, there is a space. Yeah, that's a good word here. There is a space inside. Jnanam gives a space, won't do anything. Nothing will happen, only creates a space between you and what you are not. That's all it means. That's called Viveka. Between what you are and what you are not. It will create space. And that's how you are saved then. Anyway, so I will shoot all the arrows, there will be shower of arrows, and then lots of blood. It's all the rivers of blood, and the people who are killed their limbs will be all around. And if the war continues for several days, all the dead bodies are there and they are going stinking, and all the horses will pass from on this, and they are going to be, whatever. So this situation is I can't bear. And therefore, thinking about that situation now, because you are telling me to fight, and since I'm out of the sorrow, but thinking about that brings sorrow back to my mind. Then Bhagavan is giving an answer. Could you follow? This is the connection we have to give before we go into the verse. This kind of connection is given in a commentary called Bhashyam, which Adi Shankaracharya ji has written. For every verse when it's over, then before he starts the next verse, he will write a small one sentence, 2 sentences, which shows a connection between the previous verse and next verse. That's called Sangati. Anyway, so in Shastras it has been shown, Shushrushoho Shraddhadhanasya Vasudeva Katharuchihi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipraha Punyatirtha Nishevanat. In Bhagavatam it is. It is said, Shushrushoho Shraddhadhanasya. The people who are really elderly and respectful people, we have to serve them, not kill them. He is going, these are a connection all. And Shraddhadhanasya, they are the ones who are most trustworthy. So and then we should serve them. And Syan Mahat Sevaya, Mahat Sevaya. Mahat means who are big. Like Mahatma Shabda you might have heard. Mahat means who are big. Not big in terms of a physical bigness, but they are big in terms of their progress in spirituality, etc. And therefore Mahat Sevaya, by serving them, Vipraha, the people who serve them, Vasudeva Katharuchihi, they will have they will develop a devotion towards Vasudeva, means towards the Bhagavan, or towards the Leela of the Bhagavan. So if you want your mind to dwell upon the Vasudeva or the Lord, you do this. What? Whoever are respectable people, whoever are elderly people, and whoever are otherwise spiritually, they are quite ahead than you, please serve them, etc. Then Bhagavan, what I am doing now? What should I do, Bhagavan? Instead you are telling me to kill them. I am just standing in front of them. Bhishma Drona Pramukhatah, right? Pramukhatah. I am just opposite to them. That's what Bhagavan did, purposefully did all this. Anyway, so these Mahapurushas are the people who are, the great people. They become happy when we serve them, and their grace will manifest in the devotion. It will translate into the devotion of Lord. And therefore I cannot kill them. So by just imagining what will happen if I kill them, and other people also, all other relatives, the imagination of the picture of that war brings back sorrow. Even though Atma is not subject to sorrow and this, it will never be non-existent and all that. I understand everything, but still. So this is what it means. And for that, Bhagavan is going to tell that while doing what you are supposed to do, definitely going to bring the pain. When you start what you are supposed to do, initial phase is a painful phase. Do you remember I gave you the example of that weightlifting? Do you remember that? Right? If you want to have a growth, physical growth, then you just can't lift this on both the sides. On one hand this and the other hand this. And keep on doing throughout the life. No growth. When the growth will take place? You lift something which otherwise you cannot lift. You lift something which you cannot lift, let's say, otherwise forgot about it. You lift something which you cannot lift. then the growth takes place. Do you think it is a happy thing? When you lift something which you cannot lift, there will be pain. There will be pain. That's what is happening. What I'm supposed to do, if I start doing, it brings pain. I'm supposed to get up in the morning, and at 4 o'clock, there is not a happy situation. There will be a tremendous conflict. Instead of 4, I can get up by 4:30. Why did I keep an alarm of 4 o'clock? There is no need. All are sleeping. Even I should not put this alarm. Other people also will wake up. All these things will come. Even if you come out of the bed, I tell you, for quite some time, till you drink a cup of tea or coffee, you will feel that the whole world is for me. Every morning I have that problem. Every morning. Not a single morning has gone without this pain. All the time painful. All the time. What I am supposed to do, that's called kartavya hai. When I start doing, definitely there is unavoidable pain. And you are supposed to, you are a kshatriya. They are on the side of adharma. If you won't kill them, adharma is going on the rise. Adharma will arise. I mean, it will be rampant. Already it has become like that. So you have to curb the adharma. That's your duty. And kshatriya only can do. The protection of dharma has been, the teaching of dharma is given by a brahmana. Protection of dharma should be given by a kshatriya. That's how it is. Kshatriya may teach, may not teach. Their job is basically to protect. Brahmana should not try to protect dharma. Even they don't know how to lift a sword. The other side of that they will lift. If they don't know how to carry a weapon. Their only job is to teach dharma. And therefore you are kshatriya. And you have not invited the war. War has come to you, in fact. As all the choices, non-violent choices were over, which you have done. Well, you are supposed to do that. And unavoidable pain. Then Bhagavan has to tell something, even to make him come out of this situation, which can bring sorrow for him. It's a situational. But in situations when the sorrow occurs, we should endure the situations like that. That for titiksha is going to come. And we have seen titiksha, but we have to see in the verses, matra, sparshaha, etc. We'll see that tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.